Hi, I'm Josh Ockman with Park Industries Customer Service Department. And today we're going to be talking about sticky spindles on the FastBack. Sticky spindles, or if your spindle is not raising. So first thing you want to do, if you notice when you do your warm-up cycle that you have one or more spindles that are not coming up, we'll want to look into that, because if they're not coming up during the warm-up cycle, there is a chance they're not coming up while it is running. So to start out with here, we're going to come down to our air supply. And this is a FastBack II, so yours might look a little bit different than mine. So we're going to drain our air supply. Once that drains down, we're going to come over to our spindles and make sure that our spindles are physically free. So I'm just going to lift up on the spindle to make sure it does move up and down freely. If it does, then we have a different issue if it is not raising up, like a MAC valve or something. If it does not come up and you have a hard time pulling it up, your spindle is sticky inside then, and we do have a document on our website. You will have to remove the spindle along with the air cylinder, and you'll have to take that spindle to a workbench and pull that all apart and clean up the debris and old grease that is inside your spindle. So to start out with here, we're going to remove our wrenches. If the spindle is free, then we want to look further into our air supply. So we're going to take these air lines off on both of them, and I'm going to turn our air supply back on over here. Now, I want to make sure I have air blowing out of both lines here. If I do not have air blowing out of both lines, then we definitely have an issue. This white line is coming from your air supply from your gauge. The blue line is coming from the MAC valve. This line is always pulling the spindle down. If you do not have air coming out of here, then we have an issue with our MAC valve. So I have air coming out of both of them. And then next step we want to do is go to our MAC valve and make sure that the MAC valve will shut this air supply off. We're going to go back around to the back side of the machine into the electrical cabinet, is where the MAC valves are located on the FastBack IIs and for most of the FastBack Is. First, I'm going to show you how to manually move your spindle up and down with the screen. This will apply with FastBack Is and IIs. Up in the top right corner, there's going to be a PI button. We're just going to press and hold that for 5 seconds. And then this will be the first screen that it'll get you to. This screen is the one where you can raise or lower any of your spindles. Right now, you can see we want to extend it. So EXT is extend, so I'm going to extend the spindle, and you can hear the spindle come up. And then if we want to retract it, we can retract the spindle. And that's how you can also test manually if the spindle is moving up and down. Okay, now that we're in the back electrical cabinet, our air lines are disconnected back there. We want to make sure the valve is it'll manually fire. It could be an issue with the electronic part of the solenoid here. So if we just push these buttons right on the valve here, and some of the valves may look a little different, but on your black side where your wires are coming in on the solenoid here, we can push that and we can manually fire the valve. When you manually fire, you want to make sure that it shuts all the air off to the blue line. And if it does, then we have an issue with that MAC valve, and that MAC valve can be replaced. We also may want to double check that we do have voltage coming. So we can go to whichever valve we have here. We can go follow these wires to our inputs. Otherwise, you can look at your electrical prints to find which output, which one it is. So I am going to test right now and just are positive on our output, and our negative is going to go to our common with our meter set on DC voltage, the V with the straight line behind it. And we're going to see if we have power here. Right now we do not, because the spindle is not extended. I do not have it selected on the screen. So I'm going to go extend that spindle, and we'll come back and double check that we have power. Our COVID fumigator. Okay, now that I have it selected for our spindle extended, I'm going to test power again. Red on our output, black to our common, and every common wire on our Park Industries machines will be a white wire with a blue stripe, white wire with blue stripe, and I'm going to make sure I have 24 volts, which that 23.93 looks very good. So that means my PLC is outputting power to my valve, and if my valve's not extending yet, then we do have an issue with this MAC valve here. That's it. Keep in mind, make sure the sticky spindle document that we do have online on how to take apart the spindle and everything to clean that. Otherwise, if you have any questions, give our customer service department a call. Thank you.